And we are live.
Are we live?
We're live.
Right,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our our musical what do we call this? A musical
Q&A, I believe.
Q&A. And
which means we're going to need to pull up the chat.
Yeah, we'll bring up the chat. And
I'll pull up the chat. Unless you do pull up the chat there, or I can pull it up here.
Every answer has to be sung.
Yes, yes. And we're very nice.
There it is.
We're here, and let us introduce you to Sam Haft, our amazing composer, songwriter extraordinaire. And Sam, take it away. Introduce everyone.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Haft. I do much of the music for this show, among others. And I am so pleased to be here. I'm so pleased you have tuned in. To my right is the inimitable, the legendary Richard Horvitz, voice of Moxie. To my left is the queen of the damned, Vivian Medrano, creator of, you know who she is, you're on her channel right now. On the stream, we have the illustrious Christina V, the voice of Verosica, the greatest pop star in the history of hell. And of course, we have the goetic prince, the horniest owl in all the land, Bryce Pinkham, who plays Stolas.
Yay, Bryce! So talk to us, Sam. Tell us about everyone's favorite lullaby song. Featuring our friend Bryce.
Yes. So I talked about this a little bit in a previous stream and a little bit in the one this morning. As I've mentioned before, you know, it was a very personal song to me. I have now a 3-year-old, but he was not quite 1 when I wrote the song, which it's unbelievable how long ago it's been. Yeah. Or maybe he was not quite 2. I think he was 1. I wrote the song in December of 2020.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's blowing my mind. Anyway, I, as a parent, happen to love my son kind of a lot. And so the song was really, you know, it was because in its description, you know, it was outlined as like a parent's love letter to their child, of like really wanting them to be safe and comfortable, and just like trying to reassure a child that everything's going to be all right no matter what. And that was how it was outlined to me from Vivian. And then, you know, obviously then it was going to be interrupted by the contrast of the failing marriage and the family falling apart. And I just really, I felt so personally this idea of like looking at my baby son and saying, you know, oh my God, there is nothing I wouldn't do to make sure that everything turns out okay for you. And so, you know, it really was an example of taking such a simple concept and such a simple phrase, like you will be okay, and injecting as much emotion and sentiment and love into that as possible. And obviously the song was incredibly well received and incredibly well performed, sir.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I remember the day we recorded that, and you said, well, do you just want to hear it once through? And Bryce said, no, I want to try, let's try it right away.
Yeah.
And the very first take was like, we were all, whoa, who is this guy? He should be on Broadway.
As this happens with Bryce, I think a lot, is that we will get you in for a song and we'll say like, hey, do you want to just, you know, you want to hear it? Do you want to play with it? Do you want to just take it chunk by chunk? And then you'll just do it start to finish. And
always.
I mean, everything we have comped from you in all the things that you've sung, so much of it comes from like your first 3 takes. I mean, really, you just nail it immediately. You're ready.
Yeah.
It's funny what I'm in a rehearsal process right now, and I was told the other day that my first and second and third instincts are often the best ones, and I think that's true for performing as well. Like I don't know about you, Richard, but I sort of try to come in with my preparation to a level that I could sort of say, all right, well, I'm going to give it my best stab. And I like doing that. I mean, I'm glad I chose to do that on those songs, because I do think sometimes your first take, it's like in theater, we talk about your first audition, or your first audition is your best, and then the callback is not as good, and then your entire rehearsal process, you're just trying to get back to your first audition. It's a little bit the same with singing sometimes. So yeah, I love that first take. In the same way I love a first preview of a show, because there's never been an audience before, and so it's this electric feeling. So at the same time, I love that we get to do it multiple times, because there's always something. There's always something as a singer you want to, do a little differently, or tweak a little bit. So
I feel like we do tease out some really great moments that all get used, and it's always so fun. I mean, with you too, Christina, doing these songs, because this is maybe not apparent to one of the viewers of the show, but like, so often with the music, we know what we're going to use the moment it happens. I mean, there will be a line that is sung a certain way, and everyone collectively will go, ooh, yeah, that one, and like, it's certainly in the business of animation, where like things from the point at which you're performing them to get to see them, it can take many, many months of production. The great thing about doing the music for this is there's an instant gratification there, where like, we know, like, nope, we got the song, and
we get it in the can right away.
Yeah.
So we know we have it. And then, Sam, you're so great with coming up with little intricacies, like, hey, what if we did, maybe we do more of a, let's do a little bit of a riff here or something. Let's try that. And people like both Christina and Bryce are really good at just in the moment doing that. And they go, that was it.
Yeah.
And we'll often like take that instead of like some of the other stuff that we have that's really nice and clean. But their ability to improvise in those moments.
And by the way, yours too.
Well, no, because I'm looking at Bryce, and I was so honored that Bryce said, I don't know if this is how you approach it, Richard, but, I am, like, in such awe of Bryce's voice and Christina's voice. They have, like, smooth, dulcet, beautiful tones, and I got Harvey Firestein voice, so, but, at least I can do it in tune most of the time. But yeah, I agree with Bryce. I think that I like to be prepared. I
was just singing in the car, I want to make sweet, gentle love to you.
I
love it so much.
I want to make gentle love to you. Right? But yeah, I'm with Bryce and probably Christina too, because I know Christina always comes in prepared also. And if there's a part that like, I remember we were recording the Asmodeus song with Christina, and she said, I'm not sure about this part, and then we played it for her once, and she went, oh yeah, and she got it. Like, do you remember that, Christina? You're like, boom, got it. I like I was saying, I agree with Bryce. I like to be prepared. I think the thing with the callback thing that Bryce was talking about is I equate it to a table read. And you're reading it for the first time and you get the laugh on that first line. And then you never get it again. And then it's like run through if it's a sitcom or saying, yeah, we're cutting that line. What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's because it's the funny line. And then it was like great that first time, And then actors get it in their head. And so I want to be prepared when I go in to sing with the likes of a Bryce or a Christina.
Well, and I should add about Richard that, like, once I get everyone's audio for the stuff that I'm working on, the first thing I do is like I lay it out in like pitch software, like I see where everyone's at. Often it's just kind of close enough because everyone's so talented that I don't really have to do much to it. You are dead on. Your pitch is uncanny. You are. I said this when we recorded a duet that you guys will hear in a future season. That truly, like, nothing was even tweaked. I mean, it was like the raw take was like exactly what we got.
Wow, I'm flattered. If you had heard me practicing over and over at 3 o'clock in the morning, you would think, "Whoa, what's pitch? He's never met it."
There was actually, so I'm trying to keep an eye on various questions. Is it possible to also get like a readout or like an iPad that has the chat or something? Just because I'm sort of multitasking here a little bit. There was a really interesting question that someone asked that has nothing to do with the music. But but I want to ask it for someone because I'm also now really curious.
Okay.
That's the best kind of question. We're like, I don't know the answer, and now I want you to tell me. Would various members of the Helluva Boss cast be aware of the existence of Charlie's Hotel?
That's a good question. Aware, yes.
Okay.
But to avoid, any potential future, any whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know past that, but aware, yeah.
Aware. I like knowing that. Oh, perfect.
Do you want it or do you want me to hold it?
I'll jump in while they figure this out, because I wanted to say something about what Richard said. I imagine there might be some viewers who, think, well, I don't have a singer's voice, and or like I don't have a voice like fill in the blank, and I have that feeling. I feel that about my voice. And I think what I've learned is that we all have a voice that's unique to us, and we all can sing. And like that, if your voice doesn't sound like someone else, that's actually a good thing. Richard has an amazing voice because he sounds like no one else. And Christina as well, like we don't sound like other people, we sound like us. And so if you're out there like, oh gosh, I don't sound like these singers, that's a good thing. You sound like you. And that doesn't mean you can't sing. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't sing. And don't be fooled, learning to sing professionally took a long time. It took me a long time to learn how to sing. So if you're early in your pursuit of the musical arts, and I'm sure Sam would have something to say on this too, like it just takes time. It's not something you just learn how to do overnight. So I just want to put that out there for anyone who's listening and going, oh gosh, I don't sound like those people.
And on that note, actually, someone asked a question, and looks like they paid £10 to ask this question. They were asking it for you specifically, Bryce, which was about your beginnings as an actor that took you from, the start of your career to Stolas. And in fact, on that note, Vivienne was just telling us this really interesting story about how you came to be approached for the role, which you could, also repeat for these kind of people.
Yes, this one?
Yes, that was the question.
This is from James M.
Well,
I don't know which you want to start.
Oh, yeah, I'll let Bryce start for sure.
Sure. I guess the question was about how did some choices in acting and what I chose to do in my career lead me to Stolas. And, I think most actors will tell you they don't know. Things just sort of, you walk through doors when they open. And the choices I've made have been sort of like what's been available to me. And I know that I want to work doing creative performance. And so I found myself leaving acting school and wanting a job. And the first job that I got in New York was in a musical. So I kind of, I'd done musicals as a kid, but I kind of said, oh, maybe this is where I can make a living. And so I started to kind of work more and more on my singing voice. And I think Viv can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that performances on Broadway singing probably led Viv to think of me as somebody who might be possible for this role. And I think when I saw the character description, one of the descriptions was like a character that I had done. So I was like, well, at least I got half of this this description.
That's a good segue into that story.
Yeah, that's where I was. was telling them was that I casting for this show was kind of the first time that I was casting, an actual, because even the pilot was it was the first time working like with SAG and with like SAG actors and stuff, but like casting for season 1 of Helluva was the first time I was ever casting like authentically, because I kind of had my cast pretty picked out for the pilot. And I had people who could connect me with the right people, and so when it was casting time for the series, it was a whole new world of like getting everyone getting reads and hearing all these different takes on characters. And for Stolas, I had already kind of had an idea in my head, and like I find a lot of my character, or I find a lot of inspiration through music. So a lot of like the voices or the voice types that I would like for characters are through music I listen to, and so I was familiar with your performance in Gentleman's Guide, and there was a song from it that really gave me the feel for Stolas, and so it was one of the audition songs. And then it occurred to me, because I would listen. I was in a conversation with the casting director, and I was like, I wonder if this actor or the singer like might be interested, like this person,
yeah.
like because I was like, oh, something like that. Could you see if this actor is interested?
Yes. And
maybe?
Don't send him.
And I did, and then when they did make contact, I mentioned, I was like, well, you probably don't need to send that song. I already know this person can sing.
Yeah.
And they did anyway. And so because when you sent in your read, it made me laugh so hard. You were like, well, I'm probably not going to sound as good as the person that was recording.
Yeah, I made a joke out of it. That's right.
And it was very cool, but like, yeah, obviously you're very destined to be this character, and but that was I had told them specifically, I was like, that might be, like, you don't need to send that, like, I know that this actor can sing this song, but they did it anyway, and it was very nice to get that. Like, I heard that joke and I went, okay, I think this is also like comedically a good fit for this show, because that's definitely the attitude of the show.
Yeah.
There was an interesting question that I think I may have made a lore realization about. So correct me if I'm wrong, but someone was asking about Verosika, of saying, oh, well, was Verosika a pop star when she was alive? But correct me if I'm wrong, is Verosika just kind of born in hell?
Yes, Verosika's a succubus, so she was not alive.
I'll say.
But
Not
if
alive.
Verosika was a living pop star, which one would she be, Christina?
A living. Wait. Oh my gosh. That is Oh man, it would have to be like somebody like Kesha with like party music. It's kind of like it's about having a good time. I'm gonna say somebody like Kesha would be pretty sweet.
See her as Christina Aguilera too. She's got a lot of that.
Oh,
During
she
the
has like
Jane-
the hair for sure.
Yeah.
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 This is a really interesting question for you, Viv.
Do you want this, by the way?
Oh, I can.
You're good.
Yeah.
Cool.
A question for you was, what Helluva Boss character has not gotten a song that you would really like to give a song?
Oh man. Well, season 2 has a bunch of songs from characters who have not sung yet, so there are some. But I just in general, I really would love to give Vivian Nixon more songs.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And I mean, all the characters though. Like, there's so many different kinds of songs, and obviously I can't say too much about season 2, but in season 2.
2.
But we're working on it right now, and we're getting all the songs like comped and prepared for them. And there's some really cool genres that we take the characters through. And I know, Bryce, you sang one for Stolas that's very outside of like the normal sound for Stolas.
Yeah.
And I'm super
Yeah,
excited
me.
for everyone to hear that. Yeah. So that one, I'm very excited for everyone to hear some of like the kind of, there's some diversifying musical styles as well.
Absolutely. There are a lot of people also asking a question which we all get a lot, which is about a soundtrack coming out, and like the answer is yes. Like, we're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's on the legal for that,
Yeah.
but like absolutely the plan is to get a
Working on
soundtrack
it.
out with like full versions of the songs sung by the characters. So
Oh, that'd be dope.
we want you to have all that.
Yes.
It is definitely, it's in progress.
Yeah.
It's actually, speaking of, someone said Luna song.
Yes,
Oh, that's a good. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Actually, because she hasn't done any yet, so yeah, we
that's a good one.
absolutely would love to have Erica sing something.
She did the original of the pilot, but that's
yes,
yeah, but
she did do the pilot. She
sang
sang when she played Millie in the pilot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be super fun to do. Just like
a punk song.
Oh yeah, that'd be
punk
great.
Song. That would be great.
That'd be great. So I got a question about creating the melody of a song. How do I do that? And that is I would say there are songwriters that are of two schools. There are melody first songwriters, and then there are structure first songwriters. I am boring. I'm a structure first songwriter. I always start with what is the mood of this song, build that instrumentally, build together a chord progression or a vamp that really communicates the mood and the emotion of the scene, and from there, then I figure out the top line melody. Whereas there are other people who
Paul McCartney is a melody guy first.
Yes, where it's like the melody comes like a bolt from the heavens, and it's like I have seen something from beyond the veil. I am not. I stack together Legos until the melody becomes obvious.
Yeah, and that's actually your voice. There's a signature Sam Haft sound. We always know it's a Sam song.
Aw.
Sam song. I'm changing my answer to my.
Okay, who are you? Who are you?
Doja Cat.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's Doja Cat is real life Verosika. I totally.
Yes.
That is absolutely correct.
Vivian, who's Doja Cat?
Doja Cat
very
is
popular right now.
I knew that.
So, okay, well, this is. You'll get an interesting answer to this. We would like him to be. Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Someone asked, can Weird Al be in Helluva Boss as a main character? We very publicly would like him to be.
Yeah.
Very much. Weird Al, if you are watching this.
If you're watching.
Come on.
If you're watching this specific stream.
Yes.
Here's a question. Let me read it first. Let's see. So Richard, Bryce, and Christina, what are some funny outtakes you had on set? Also, thanks again for the autographs from last year, especially the BD message from Bryce has stole us. So this is from. I cannot say your username. I'm so sorry. It is a lot of letters.
Akira Ryuzen 2010.
Yes.
Go ahead, Christina. You first. Do you remember any of the funny outtake stuff?
Oh man, I don't know if I remember any funny outtakes, but I feel like the lyrics themselves would be what an outtake would be.
Yeah. How about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I certainly remember just the feeling of like cracking ourselves up in the booth. And sometimes that being from a word said wrong or a different word said or
we didn't expect to come out of your mouth.
or spots where we'd be where you'd give us permission to improvise a little bit, and that just, to me, when we're making ourselves laugh, that feels like the sweet spot of creativity and where the best and worst ideas come from, and sifting through the best and worst ideas is somebody else's job, but the artist's job, at least in this setting, to me feels like to just generate from that place of like, can you make yourself laugh, and can you make the people on the other end of the line laugh? And if you can do that, then just stay right in that pocket as long as you can. I mean, I've heard Richard talk about this before, that sort of sense of play.
Yeah, we were just saying that this morning, that we're enjoying each other's company, we're making each other laugh, and we don't know what the audience is going to think about it, but in that moment, it's always been my belief that if we're having fun, you're going to have fun, and that's why I think the sense of play and fun that Bryce was just talking about is very important. For me, I have a lot of outtake stuff because I get to work, I get to direct myself, and Viv gets to direct me and stuff. But I think it's a song that isn't out yet. It's it's a duet that I have with, I can say Millie, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I have
So
a duet,
shocking.
Yeah, I have a duet with Millie, and we didn't get to record together, and there's like some really strong harmony in there, and so we never got to hear each other recording at the same time, and then when you played it the first time, you take it, Sam.
Yeah, they just like did not line up.
We did not even come
it's,
close.
Melodically, the harmonies lined up. Timing wise, it was just very, very different. And then also, like, this was a song that, because it was in the midst of the songwriting process for the other show, I was not able to be around for either sessions of this one. And normally, I'm always around to kind of like police the melody and the timing and the performance and the stuff with it. But like, I just wasn't there for these. And then I got these and I lined them up and I went, oh no, these are two different songs.
It was really not good.
But we re-recorded Richard, and it how it sounds now is delightful. I mean, also, like, were I there in Vivian's session, then I probably would have even changed the key of the song.
Yeah.
Because there's a note there that is really, really low for her.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, oh, hello, Kat.
Richard, this is Doja Cat, by the way.
Oh, Doja Cat.
Oh, well, there is a note that Vivian performs, and it's like, you can see, it's just like such, it's like down there.
Really so low.
And were we recording that on the day, I would have said, oh, don't worry about it, I'll mess with the key of the song, and we'll come back to it like, a couple semitones higher. But keeping it that way, it was like this happy little accident where picturing Millie singing the note like that was so in character and funny, and it was like totally Millie's enthusiasm of like, I don't care what this note is, I'm gonna sing it.
That's right.
And it just
did a good job with it, even though she was like, this is not my key.
It's this beautifully in character moment that like, when you hear it, you're gonna see like, oh yeah, this is such a funny, genuine Millie moment of like, no, I'm playing game with you. I'll meet you in your key, Moxie. And it's just like, it ended up being this beautiful, hilarious accident that like, one of those things that happens in the booth. I mean, my favorite of all the improvisational things that happened with Michael Romeo Ruocco, or Rocco? Yes. And he was the voice of Dramatic Blitzo, as we called him, in the Moxie's Bad Trip sequence, the Phantom of the Opera style character. And initially, in the sort of spoken intro, the shtick is that fancy Blitz is getting Moxie's name wrong over and over and over again. It's calling it Moxiferous Rex the Third.
Hey, that's not my name.
Yeah, and just that was like the first clue that things were off. But we were just having so much fun in the booth that I was like, hey, why don't you call him a little bitch? Why don't you call him a little bitch boy?
And then we just did one take of it too, and that's what ended up being.
It was just too funny to hear that dramatic going, you precious little bitch boy. It just, sometimes, and at the time, like, it wasn't even like, oh, we're going to use this take. It was just, I wanted a more playful performance out of the whole take. So I was like, hey, let's start on this very silly moment, and maybe that'll get us into that sort of headspace. But just doing it as an exercise, it was so hysterical that like, it blew the intro that I'd written like completely out of the water. We completely scrapped it and replaced it with this, you little bitch boy. It was great.
It's so good.
I hate when I hear myself climb to a note. That's my worst moment.
You gave a note in a mix or in something
where you had a scoop where you were like, I
hate when you can hear me climb. It's like, I'm almost there.
Well, I thought it was very beautiful, but I did change it.
You did change it.
This is an interesting, I mean, it's not a music question, but it's again, it's a question that I don't know the answer to, so I'm so curious, which is like, obviously, Has Been was this thing that came first, and you're like, okay, here's this environment in hell and all that. What made you think like, hey, what about making another story in this universe?
That's a fun one. I mean, I'll keep it brief. Basically, I was developing where Has Been would go, and this is how Has Been came about too, because Has Been was part of a different story at one point in my life, and I get really attached to characters I create because I treat every character like they could be the star of their own show, and I created these. I was developing these imp characters and the boss character, and I was like, you know what? I think these characters don't belong in this show. I don't think they belong in this story, because I think they have a story of their own. And through developing Helluva and meeting Brandon and just creating it, it became the other side of this universe that I've kind of created in my head. And so Helluva just literally is just the other side of the coin of this world, because it has to do with the actual the politics of hell and the goetic demons and I've always wanted to do my own take on some of them. So like Stolas is a character that exists in the Ars Goetia, and I wanted to explore that. I was like, I love, because if you've ever seen a picture of what Stolas is depicted as, it basically just looks like a Furby with legs. And I was like, I love that. So it always stuck with me, and I was like, I want to do my own take on this character that from this this
what mythology. If he was horny?
Yeah, what if he was really tall and horny and stuck in a sad mare
Bryce, make him! We've got it!
I know who we should get.
For that?
He's sad a lot. But no, it was really cool to expand the universe, and then this is a musical style. I kind of answered this in the live stream, but to separate the shows spiritually a little bit more as well. Helluva is more of a non-diegetic musical. That's correct.
Yeah.
I always get it mixed up which one's which, but where the songs are coming from the universe. I have to kind of find an excuse for there to be a song number in Helluva Boss versus Has Been, which is like a Disney where they just burst in a song. And so, but part of me though, the further we get into the show, the part of me that is starting to not care as much. So we'll see how much manifesting musical stuff happens in Helluva Boss, or maybe there's just more drug trips.
Yeah, it's just once an episode, everyone takes shrooms, and we see what happens.
To sing. Yeah.
This is a very easy and fun question to answer about the music. It comes from B Heart Symbol, looks like. It's what kind of genres are you guys interested in experimenting with in the future, in and out of the show? And also, I'm very happy to say that I was able to get signed prints by everyone. Let me shill super again. It's streamly.com/Helluva Boss. You can get signed prints from any of us. Christina and I have a co-signed print for, it's like a tour poster for Verosica. Bryce and I have a co-signed print for You Will Be Okay. Richard and I have a co-signed print for Moxie's Bad Trip. It's it's we're all, it all comes together. Please check it out if you haven't yet. And thank you so much for picking those up. B, in terms of genres that have been in the show and that are coming in the show, it's almost hard to think of a genre. There are really only kind of two genres that, to my knowledge, have not just been fully explored in the show or already are songs that are coming in the next season. And I can't think of a full hip hop song, and I cannot think of a full techno house dance song. Those are the two things that I can't really think of, but there's a lot of dance pop. So
Verosca would be that way.
Yeah.
Right? She would be
But I mean, there's so much. There's
I'll do the hip hop. I will sing the hip hop song. Yes.
Your cat's hair.
This is hip hop album.
Where is your cat's hair? Fur.
No, I'm
decided it didn't want it anymore.
That's not to say that, that's not to say that there is no rap, because there's a K-pop song that has rap in it. There's a ton of arena pop. There's some sweet acoustic duets. There's a lot of Broadway style
amazing
stuff.
songs in season 2. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one episode.
My favorite thing we recorded with Bryce was we had a very sort of Danny Elfman Broadway track. That was that one. You're gonna lose your shit. There's so, I mean, like, there's nothing that's off the table, and that's one of the things that I love so much creatively about this show, is that there's an excuse. There's like sexy funk music in this one. Yeah. There's circus music. Like, there can always be an excuse to do a new kind of thing. There is one track that I would describe as sort of the Moxie's bad trip of its season, musically and creatively, that contains like Broadway and like 80s techno and like metal and crooner music, like all in one track, in one sick twisted gumbo.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear these.
Yeah, me either.
I will say, I'd love to know though, like, I mean, just creatively, because what's fun, one of the reasons the music is so varied in the show is because, you know, every song is kind of based around the character who's singing it, and every character has a very specific sound and a very specific kind of genre that's kind of their forte. But like I said earlier, you know, Bryce, you got to explore something slightly out of that for Stolas, and that's what's fun, is that there is like freedom for the characters to almost like kind of expand past their genre. So I'd love to know, like, yeah, just from, you know, like the question was, is like, what kinds of songs and music would you like to explore with these characters? Because I think it's always fun to kind of know and think about like the possibilities for some of the
That's
the
a great question.
I'd like to sing a great Viking tune.
You've got it.
All right,
we're gonna do a Viking shanty.
Do a Viking
or a
shanty.
Shanty.
I love sea shanties. They're really dope.
You name a sea shanty, we got a sea shanty in the song, in the show.
Yeah, sea shanty, definitely. I was just thinking, like, I don't know, when you were asking Christina about what artist, you know, would most resemble Verosika, I was thinking like, oh, who would Stolas' artist be? And I was like, David Bowie? David Bowie, Radiohead,
Owl City,
Talking Heads, you know, any band with the word head in it.
Motorhead.
yeah, maybe not. So I don't know. That's my short answer off the top of my head. But yeah, I love how much genre exploration you guys use. And I have a follow-up question, which is, do you plan songs in advance, or do you let the writing lead you to a moment where you go, I think we need a song here, Sam, what do you think? Or are you saying, hey, I want to make sure we have 2 songs next episode, one of them's for so-and-so and one of them for so-and-so, let's write to those songs? Or is the writing leading you to sung moments?
It's kind of a mix. Sometimes it's like I'm very diehard, like, you know, especially when we're approaching an episode or season, I'm like, I want this character to have a song. Like, we just, you know, we want to explore it, and I want them to be able to express. And sometimes it is through the writing. Like, we'll be writing an episode, and we'll be kind of deciding what moments feel like they're musical. The other challenge, like I said earlier, with Helluva being this non-diegetic musical, I do also have to plan story-wise, like, you know, what makes the most sense in this scenario, because what we do first is that we create outlines for basically the building blocks for the season, because the show is becoming very serialized. So it's episodes are self-contained, but they all kind of flow into the overarching narrative. Yeah. So there is an ongoing story. So because of that, we do try to, you know, kind of building block it out the season before we dive in. And so when we do that, we figure out what the, like, kind of excuse for this music will be in each episode. Yeah. So, like, it's like, oh, this one is very easy. They go to a concert or whatever. Yeah. Or, like, you know, Verosika's she's at a beach, so she's doing her performance. Or, like,
Verosika's one of my favorite characters too, because, like, in universe you're a pop star, so we just get to write you like great pop star music.
It's very easy, but, like, you know, and with Stolas, it's like, you know, there's like a, I can't say too much about season 2 yet, but like, you know,
Season
each one
2?
each one is like Stolas is the most, I think, classic musical theater in the sense that he is so emotional and he is kind of a character that can sing, so it's like he can just kind of go into songs because he's very dramatic. So like there's moments where like we can kind of manifest a song just because he's feeling a lot, so he's gonna express it, you know, but he's actually kind of singing out into the universe. So, you know, so we have to kind of address that as well. But yeah, we usually find it through when we're breaking those building blocks and then finding what's the realistic reason we can bring a song into this. And some of them are easy and some of them are more, we have to be creative, like they're on drugs or like they're this or that. But it's really fun to find that. And then sometimes I'm just like, I want this character to sing, so in one of these episodes we got to find out how we can get that character to sing.
Yeah. There's a really terrific question here asking this. I mean, isn't that great?
Oh, what song would Blitz sing in the shower? Oh man. What song would Blitz sing in the shower?
Let me tell you what I picture.
Yes.
I picture him sudsing himself up, going, it's Britney, bitch. That's mentally for me, like I can picture that very easily.
Yeah. That's very, very, very in character. Another, I mean, I know Blitz, I kind of base Blitz around rock. So if there's like a fun rock song, I'm not as big on rock myself, funny enough. So that's why I'm like, is there a song? That makes it.
Well, he is singing that song in the van.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mustang Dog.
The Mustang Dog song.
Yeah.
Let's go with that for now.
Yeah.
That's a song you clearly
something
knows.
that involves hip thrusting.
Yes.
Yeah. She's my cherry pie.
Yeah. Yes. That one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. What do you think Blitz would sing in the shower? What does Moxie sing in the shower?
It would have to be Hamilton for sure.
Yeah,
How does a bastard orphan or and a Scotsman dropped in the middle of a forgotten spot by Providence impoverished?
To anyone who knows, like, or I feel like every cast member has seen you go into Hamilton at some point, but like at least between sessions.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bryce ever saw me go into Hamilton. Did you, Bryce?
That's not true. It's been on every stream, and I'm break your streak.
I was gonna say, I don't think there's a single cast member.
Theodosia, what to say to you? Okay.
And really, Richard is pigeonholing himself. I've seen him sing all manner of stuff during sessions. There was like a couple weeks where it was nothing but Suddenly Seymour.
Suddenly Seymour. Nobody ever treated me kindly. Daddy left early. Mama was poor. I'd meet a man and I'd follow him blindly. He'd snap his fingers and me, I'd say, sure. Suddenly Seymour. I want to play that role. I don't want to play Seymour.
Moxie would make a great Audrey in the shop.
I want to be Audrey.
Actually, why don't we go around with that? What is Veronica's shower song?
Veronica's shower song. Come back to me. Come back to me.
Dang it.
Stolas?
Me.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I can go through other character. Let's see.
Okay.
Give us a minute.
What is
Moxie's
Luna's shower song?
Moxie's
is Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. That's my,
Yeah.
What is Luna's?
Oh man.
Oh God, she's so.
That's another. Okay.
Maybe she's singing a Morrissey song.
I'm gonna. Is Green Day punk?
Early Green Day.
Yeah.
Early Green Day. I'm trying to think. I don't know.
Someone.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
There we go.
There's the
that's
edge.
nice.
Yeah. People are suggesting that it's "Slave for You" by Britney Spears
That's a good one.
for Veronica. That's a good one.
I'm thinking it needs to be like more women scorned. We need like some Carrie Underwood.
Oh yeah.
Before he cheats.
Yeah.
Yeah, before he cheats, yeah.
Or Burn from Hamilton, Richard.
Oh,
Oh, that's a good one.
I can't even You burn.
He's gonna get
I'm
started.
throwing these letters away. I'm burning them up today. That's the only lyrics I
Yeah,
know.
that's exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
What do we think? Stolas, shower song? I mean, obviously, it's a pure hypothetical because Stolas takes long, luxurious baths.
That's true.
A bad song.
I'm caught between like a sort of more earlier like crooner song, like fly me to the moon, something like that.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yes.
Rubber ducky.
Or Rubber Ducky, yeah, just because
Yeah.
he's in the bath by himself. But then I don't know. There's got to be some like I want to hear from the fans. Like what did they want to hear Stola sing? There was a while where I did some like as part of one of these signings, I did sort of like Stola's karaoke. I said you can order a song, and record a couple songs, and I'm trying to remember some of the ones I did because they were great. Our fans have great ideas.
So when
Great
Stola
taste.
sings Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Yes, exactly. Wasn't me.
That's great. People, a couple, we have Leo Lokison says, loving everything Asmodeus and curious if we'll get more music from him or from the Lust Ring in general.
Yes.
Very much yes.
Very much
yes.
A lot of
Plenty. And someone also asked if there would be any duetting between Blitz and Stolas, to which I say, perhaps,
Eventually.
mayhaps. So just keep an ear out, perhaps. Will there be Helluva Boss sheet music? That's a very good question. Got a lot of sheet music for these terrific performers because often we are asked for it. So it exists. So it is. It's certainly. I feel like it's certainly plausible that it gets released.
Yes.
Oh, this is also very interesting. Every canon relationships couple song.
That's a good. I just saw that one, and I'm like, man.
That is
of
from
course,
Kim
Today,
Lechman.
I would be very like dead on songs like titles, because there's some good there's so many complicated relationships in the show.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Okay. Stolitz, holding out for a hero.
yes, that's a good one.
What is Moxie and Millie's couple name?
Eminem.
Eminem. I love that. Eminem.
8 Mile. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
What is
Crazy
our-
in Love.
Crazy in Love's pretty good.
Maybe I love I Would Do Anything for You from
Yes.
my Meatloaf.
Ooh.
And I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
I gotta write you a Meatloaf style song.
Yeah.
That's,
That's
I'm
it. I
filing
want-
that away in the bank.
Someone
But I
said
remember every little
the-
thing.
the shower song. Someone said the bird is the word for Stola. I thought that was a funny answer.
Bird is
Yeah.
a word. Bird.
Yeah, Stolitz could also be Bad Romance, or maybe that is and
That might
Verosika is Bad Romance.
kind of applies to all the Blitz relationships.
Yeah. Relationships. They're all bad romances.
Yeah.
We got 5 minutes?
We got 5 minutes, everyone.
What
Get your-
about a concert?
We are talking about it.
We are talking about
We
it.
would love to do that.
Yeah, so I have actually even reached out to a venue in LA, and then in theory that goes well, and then we start doing one in New York, and then perhaps at your local Comic-Con, viewer. That's also a possibility.
And Bryce can stay with us.
Yes,
Yes. Yes. So Bryce
we'll
can
keep
come out.
Bryce in a little box.
Yes.
and we'll put him out.
He'll have a little
Travel very
tuxedo.
easily.
Time to sing "Bird is the Word."
Bird,
There you go. Off you
go. Yeah, well, that would be wonderful.
Yes. Which characters would enjoy Queen, and what song would they sing? From Sloop Frick. What a name.
So interesting. I feel like all the characters would like Queen.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's a good ending
The number
Yeah.
one
for
song
that.
for all of them would be "Another One Bites the Dust."
Oh,
There it
that's
is,
so
right
good.
there.
IMP
That's
theme.
the
our
IMP one.
Yeah. That's great. Let me
good
see
final-
a couple other.
final
Yeah, let's see if there's another couple last questions. Will there ever be a segment in either Has Been Hotel or Helluva where it's just a character going crazy on piano or guitar? There is, in fact, on the other show, there is a piano solo moment that does occur.
Yes.
This is a great question because we know the answer and it's very funny, and we didn't have Bryce before when we talked about this. Someone named Lyra Len says, Bryce, during Stolas's rants, the sexual rants, were you actually spewing nasty stuff, or did you record just gibberish in between the lines? I happen to know the answer because these two told me that you were recording absolute filth, weren't you?
No comment.
Just pure spite.
Yeah, it was. I think it was one of the first things we did, wasn't it? Where
Yes.
Richard was like, "Just make something up," and this was like beginning of pandemic, So I hadn't done anything in a while, and I just remember being like, "Okay, here we go."
And we were just talking about that, Bryce, because we were talking about how the show, explores some very adult themes and a lot of adult language, and it was our first session with you, and so I think I was very cautious about how I approached you about it. I said, so we have this scene where you have to talk sexual things and you can say whatever you want, don't worry, don't feel okay, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
We were like, okay.
Just blew the hair back on Richard's head.
Very fun. It was such a welcome surprise.
It was so fun.
It informed me and Richard that it's you were game for anything the
game
show's gonna throw at you.
Yes.
And because I think initially what I did with it and what I do with it when Solus goes off like that is that it becomes a bunch of censor bleeps. So it was a situation where it didn't you could have said anything and I would have found places to make it sound dirty. But the actual things you were saying were
so
actually
easy.
Yeah.
So it was very fun to censor out.
Please never ever release it ever.
Except for peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
But to segue into Christina also, I know that you do a lot of younger audience projects, so I know this character is just so much more raunchy than a lot of things you do.
I think I've mentioned it before, but it brings me great joy when you search my name. It's Christina V, Disney, Christina V, vacay to Bonetown. I have
Vacay to Bonetown.
Vacay to Bonetown.
You're taking a vacay from Disney to Bonetown. There were a lot of questions about two characters in particular as well that I'm seeing people be like, I gotta get this in before the timer. Okay. One of them is Luna. People are asking, are we gonna see more Luna-centric episodes? I know that the answer is extremely yes. Mm-hmm. And the other one was Fizz, and people were asking, is there gonna be more Fizz music, and is there gonna be more Fizz with Ozzy? The answer to both is big yes.
Massive yes.
Big, much yes.
So don't worry.
Yeah, there's a whole lot more Fizz.
A lot of Fizz in season 2. A lot of Stolas in season. I mean, a lot of
Luna.
But
we go deep in season 2. Season 2 is good. Everyone gets good storylines in season 2.
And I guess just because it happened in the last stream, and I'll say it in this one. I know it's been a very long time since we've gotten an episode out. We are painfully aware. We are working incredibly hard. The studio is seriously killing it. It's just that the episode that we're making is really ambitious, and there's also kind of a legal element that we just has taken a long time to kind of sort out. But it's very close, and it's
I've seen it. It's unbelievable.
It's definitely
really good.
It's gonna be worth the wait. And then we also have made a lot of progress already on season 2 as well. So the next
season 2
shouldn't
spoiler alert
shouldn't take too much long after 108. And also they are longer, so they'll also be very worth a solid wait because they're much more content.
At least one of these episodes is a full half hour.
Yes, one of them is a full half hour.
Yeah.
So we're done. Okay, so as we did in the last stream, we are all going to be doing our live streams. Keep an eye on my Instagram, which is where I'll be doing my live stream. I haven't picked the date yet, but it'll be very soon. Instagram Live is where I'll be signing. Sam, where will you be signing?
I will be live on TikTok when I sign. Look out for when Richard is signing, because we will sign together. We have a duo print. Mm-hmm. Christina and I obviously also have a duo print. So I will. I'll be loosey-goosey about it. You tell me when you want to sign it, and we'll.
And then, Christina, where you'll probably announce on your social media when you'll be signing.
Next Saturday. Although my timing was bad because I forgot I'm getting my wisdom teeth out on Friday, so we'll see.
Oh, okay, no, that's gonna be great. You're gonna be super high.
Yes,
super high.
So next Saturday at noon, and we'll see how I feel. I'm hoping.
I just want to sign with you while your face is like this and you're on super opiates.
And I hope I'm like drooling the whole time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for this order. Like,
And Bryce?
Yeah, same. I'm going to be signing on Instagram at the Brycecapades, and I haven't decided yet, but probably next weekend as well. So keep an eye out there.
I think we're going to leave our stores open.
Yes.
For about 2 weeks. I know a lot of people have asked on our Instagrams if you don't have a chance to get a print this week. We will be keeping our stores open for the next 2 weeks. And there you can find our prints at streamly.com. And if you want to go to our individual pages, it's just streamly.com/our names, Richard Horvitz, etc.
There's the artist Q&A next weekend.
And there's the artist Q&A next weekend.
Oh, and there's the artist Q&A next weekend. So there's an artist Q&A next weekend. So, again, we would like to thank all of you for your support in this show and how much you have taken to it, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you, Christina.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Vivian. And we tried to answer as many of the questions as we could. If you have anything else, particularly anything else for the music, seriously, feel free to tweet me at Sam Haft. Very simple on Twitter. I will answer as much as I can. I will try to answer stuff when I'm doing the live stream. Mm-hmm. It's just whatever questions we see, and we have such a limited time of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week. The artist Q&A.
My